Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land, motorcycle miscreants everywhere. It's 9 p.m.-ish, 9:03, closest we've been in a long time on the East Coast, and that means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. I'm joined tonight not by one, but two lovely co-hosts.
I'm so excited Patrick's here.
Right?
Like, I like Ken and all, but I really like when Patrick co-hosts.
So from time to time, we have the unfortunate situation where Ken has to be out of the studio, but we do get to rely on Patrick Garvin from JP Cycles. Patrick, how you doing tonight? Patrick's not with us.
Patrick, we lost your audio. Well, we're just going to talk. So I'm super excited about tonight's show because not only, excuse me,
We lost Patrick.
Patrick went away. Not only do we hopefully have Patrick here again soon, he's been having some technical difficulties over there in South Dakota.
Okay, guys, you got
There
me?
you go. Yeah.
There he
So sorry,
is.
yeah. I was saying how happy I was to be here, and then I wasn't here.
Sometimes that's not necessarily a bad thing if you live in our world.
But you know, it's always good conversation when you're on the show, man. We love when you have the time to co-host with us, and especially now because everyone's coming to the neighborhood.
Oh man, yeah, it's crazy, living out here and the juxtaposition of non-rally time to rally time. But things are definitely heating up right now in South Dakota. I think we were both just kind of talking there earlier, and for the people in the industry right now, like leading up to Sturgis, can just be hell.
Right.
Yeah, most of us kind of like at one point in the day is like, I hate my life. I hate my life. I hate my life.
Then as soon as rally gets here and you jump in all 4 feet and then everything's going and things are the way it's supposed to be again.
Yeah, right on. I mean, that's the thing. The terror beforehand, it's so worth it. It's so worth it to come like that. That last couple miles, man, rolling into town and seeing the Black Hills and coming through the Badlands, like it's so worth it to finally get there.
Oh yeah, as soon as you get there, you're like everything's like.
Yep. I have.
Yeah, it's weird.
For about 30 seconds.
But you get a weird feeling when it kind of ramps up, because when you're coming from the east anyway, you come through Rapid and you're like, okay, and then it kind of flattens out for a second. And then there's that spot kind of like right around Piedmont when the hills are really, really visible and you're like, oh, and and you smell like the hills, and yeah, it hits home for real. You really do get kind of like a giddy feeling, like vacation when you were a kid.
Hey, and not to take anything away from my friends in the flyover states, but honestly, man, riding on a motorcycle, that's where the country really starts. I mean, all through the East Coast and everything too, but that's where the country really starts to get beautiful again when you're heading west. And from there, it's just like, scene after scene after scene, man.
100%. You know what? I thought a lot about this because I ride so much out here, and that's part of the reason I wanted to come out here. And I think a lot of it, honestly, has to do with public land. The Midwest and the East, there's not a lot of public land.
Yeah.
And you get out here to the West, and there's so much public land, so many big national forests and national parks I think that's kind of the key to the riding out here is public land.
I agree. Well, real quick, I want to mention to you guys that we are coming to you through the courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio, bringing you Shop Talk every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We appreciate them for everything they do for us, bringing our news and talk to you every week, and we appreciate you guys. We encourage you not to just be a bystander, but get involved in the conversation. As you'll see throughout the evening, we have plenty of comments coming in on social media, and Heather will be off to the side here to answer those for you. What do you got so far, Blondie?
Oh, everybody's here. Sorry, I shut my mic off because I was hacking into it. Everybody's here tonight. Missy is coming to us from South Dakota. She is there. She's going to be going through the Badlands tomorrow.
How's that even fair?
That's what I said. Well, she gets to work with Michael for the next week. So I still think I'd rather be in South Dakota already because that means all this shit would be behind us. Sorry, Mom. Brenda and Jack are here. Their bike is done already. Jason Sims is here. He loves living in Sturgis year round. I would love it except for the 9 months of winter.
Yeah.
It's worse
it's
than
not
being
that
pregnant.
bad. It's not that bad. I would say the winters out here are more usable than Eastern winters.
More usable. There you go. Well, you guys, I can imagine everybody there still has snowmobiles because you can still rock it on a snowmobile a pretty good part of the year. Make it worth it anyway.
Yeah, snowmobile is huge. And man, I got to get one of those timber sleds. That's on my high on my list of things to do.
So tell everybody in case they don't know what a timber sled is.
So it's a conversion. It's a track conversion for like late model. I think you can go all the way back to '08 actually. You can put tracks on a 450 dirt bike. So it's like a snowmobile track in the back and one big ski in the front.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, man, lots of stuff to talk about tonight. Like we've been saying, we're all getting amped up for Sturgis. Sturgis for the motorcycle industry and for scooter tramps is kind of like our what? Super Bowl or
Yeah.
you know, like
It's
that's
definitely like our Super Bowl.
It's the big
It's a
show,
family
man.
reunion.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a Super Bowl party. It's X Games. It's like it's all the good stuff mashed into one thing.
But before we go any further, we have to talk about on his thing last week that we talked about the
Oh, the hooligan starter kit.
dude.
Oh,
You are the man. You are the man to put shit like that out there. I love you.
Oh, my hooligan kit?
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
anti-hooligan
Yeah.
kit? Well, sometimes us hooligans take stuff a little bit too seriously. And I like to keep it cool. I like to keep it hooligan, keep it core, bro.
Keep it
And
core,
keep
bro.
core bro.
Well, you know that's something that like we've been preaching over and over here again at all the events this year and everything is like let's take all this stuff a couple notches back where it was fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being
Yeah.
with people and doing stuff that was fun and see if we
Yeah,
can.
if it's not fun, why bother?
Right.
Like seriously.
Yeah, I mean that's super true. You can't. You really. It's got to be fun, and like I said, it's a business, and a lot of our hobbies are business. So you have the tendency to kind of take things too serious. But I think everybody can take a step back, and if you can poke fun at yourself a little bit, I think it lightens everybody's
Yeah.
mood. And I think just
Makes
try
it
not to take
even
it so
better.
serious.
Makes it
Yeah.
even better. And good for me, I have Heather here all the time who constantly reminds me to make fun of myself. She's
I just do it
Yeah.
for you.
She's so
Yeah.
good at that.
Come on, it's not that bad. It's one of the benefits of working with your wife.
Okay. So on that note, we are going to talk about all the events going on in Sturgis. Great show lineup tonight. We have Stacy Wilt coming on from
Ride to Food.
and which is
Sure.
like, this is something that I do all the time. How I never started writing about going to get a good meal on a motorcycle. What a dumbass I am. But she's killing it.
Yeah, I think half the time that's actually what I'm doing. I just don't know it. Is I'm actually going to ride to get something to eat.
Right.
I just use the ride as an excuse to go eat something I shouldn't eat.
Well, and I'll be honest, I didn't pay. I'm not overly familiar with her, but I was checking out her website tonight. And one of the most important things for us when we're on the road is good food.
Because
Oh, yeah.
it's
So
so hard.
I'm absolutely going to be hitting her website on a regular basis because I like food a lot. And that's really important. It's like, I hate when you go to a place and you want something good and you're like, ugh. Use references. It's perfect.
Yeah, and I think bikers have a way of just kind of sussing out the best burgers or, bratwurst or definitely drinks. Like we have a way of getting to those places that nobody else can.
So
absolutely.
when we're offline, you need to send me all the places in and around Sturgis because we're going to be there for a couple weeks.
Okay,
That we should
yeah,
go eat.
Dude, the steakhouse. We're going back to the steakhouse.
So I will say Marilyn Stemp nailed it. She told, and this is probably more non-rally time, but she coined the phrase that Sturgis is a culinary wasteland,
Yeah.
and it kind of is
Yep.
non-rally. But luckily for us, all the rally vendors come in, and we're surrounded also by Deadwood. And have you guys ever been to the place out in Beulah, Wyoming?
No.
Buffalo
No.
Jump Saloon. Holy cow!
You need to send me
Okay.
a list.
Exit 4, I'm just telling everybody right now. Exit 4, Beulah, Wyoming. Beulah's got about 30 people that live in it. And there's a restaurant out there called the Buffalo Jump Saloon.
I have been there.
Best bison ribeye I've ever had.
Really?
Hands down. Yep.
They
got
have
it.
like a swimming pool outside that a bartender stands in and serves beer.
No.
No, okay.
No, this is much
It's
more
weird.
like cowboy than that.
Okay.
I will
But I
tell
want to
you.
go where you're talking about. Wherever you're talking about, we're going to find that.
I will
It's in
tell
a
you.
town that literally had a population of like 16, and all of them were in the bar when I went in.
Good
That sounds
town,
like a
man.
great place.
Good town. I do know that they're on the way to the Devil's Tower. The last right hand turn that you make, there's a little tiny shack there that I think they serve. Beverages and shit, but they have some of the best tacos on the planet. Or
Oh,
at
I
least
like
they
really?
did.
tacos.
At least they did
all
the
about
last time I was
tacos.
through there.
I'm in for that too.
So I'm definitely, I don't care what's going on. Oh, here's
Okay,
Jamie Johnson.
here's our first
All right.
guest. Maybe.
So we're super excited about this guest because not only is he an avid motorcyclist, he's an amazing musician, and he's going to be playing at the Iron Horse Saloon on Monday, August 5th.
Yeah, a for real famous guy.
Yeah,
not
for
just like
real
us
famous. I don't know how we swung this, but we did.
Yeah.
Let's answer that
I'm really trying.
before they disconnect.
Go ahead. Let me.
Anyway, so
let me
he's
put
coming.
over to you for a second, Heather.
So yeah, I don't know, Patrick. Are you familiar with Jamie Johnson at all? Any of his
Yes,
music?
yes, I am. Yep.
I really like him. He's got a genuine quality about him and his music, and I know he stands up for what he believes in and what he feels is right, which makes him, an even better human being. And again, he likes motorcycles. I know at least once in 2017 he started his show by riding his motorcycle out onto the stage.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Let me try him back.
Yeah. Sorry, we're a little technical difficulties.
Hello.
Hey Jamie, how you doing, man? You're live on Shop Talk.
Oh, hey.
Dude,
I'm doing good.
I so apologize. I don't know what was going on with the phone there, but we're live now and we're up and running, and so excited to talk to you. Thanks for taking a couple minutes with us.
Well, I have a few minutes. I'm walking through the grocery store gathering up some crap.
That's awesome.
So I think out of everybody here, Heather has been pissing her pants.
Oh, stop.
Oh no! Come on, tell the truth now.
No.
Absolutely thrilled that we're going to get to see you, and right on our property at the Iron Horse, because that's our home base for the rally.
Well, Heather, it's good to talk to you, too. I hope y'all get that all cleaned up.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. No, I'm really excited. When I first saw that you were coming out, I actually called the owners of the Iron Horse and told them that they made a really good choice. Because not only are you an amazing musician, you love motorcycles.
Yeah, I grew up way out in the country, South Alabama. And down there you can get a motorcycle license. It's actually called a motor-driven cycle license at 14. And I already had a job by the time I was 12, so I had to have a vehicle to get around.
Yeah.
And so I got a bike, and that's how I did it. That's what got me all the way through just about junior year of high school.
Right on.
And,
What was your first bike?
I was probably like a Yamaha Enduro. It was small enough that I could putt around from A to B, but it also had blinkers, and I could also get it off in the fields, and it did a good job. It got me around. My first larger motorcycle was a Honda. I want to say it was maybe a 450 or something like that. My dad had a Kawasaki 650. Later on, I got a big old 754. A Honda 754.
Yeah, buddy.
So yeah, I grew up on the cheap bikes.
Gotta
I
start
loved it.
somewhere.
Well, yeah. A lot like what you're talking about. I grew up in the countryside outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Pittsburgh gets country real quick.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Out here, if you didn't have a dirt bike, you didn't visit your friends. You didn't go to any of the cool parties. You didn't like anything that your parents weren't willing to take about 10 minutes and drive you to. You were screwed. So we got once we found out how to put a motor on two wheels, man, we hit the streets.
Yeah, that's the extent of it, man. If we, you know, out in the country, your nearest neighbor could be a couple miles away, and so it's not like in town where, you know, if you want to go hang out with your buddies, you just walk next door, or everybody meets up at the park. Not so out there.
Now, what are you riding right now?
I just sold. In fact, I say sold. I didn't sell it. I donated it. It was a custom bike. Uh, it was a S&S motor. But it was made by a pretty reputable guy around these parts. Uh, but I donated it to the San Jose chapter of Hell's Angels because
right
uh, we have a dear friend of ours that works for Willie Nelson, LG, and LG is a member of that chapter out there. So I wanted them to have something nice. Well, this one had engraved tailpipes that had it says pure hell.
Right on.
And so that's what made me think of the Hell's Angels.
Now we got a clip here of you actually riding on the stage with a motorcycle. Is that the bike you're talking about?
No, that's actually a Harley Davidson that I bought from my dear friend, and he's actually been in my band since about 2010. Chris Hennessy.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, he had this motorcycle, but he had just bought this house and moving his family into this new house, and he needed to get a kitchen renovated and all this kind of stuff, and he didn't want to part with the bike, but he did, and so I bought it from him to get him some money for his renovations, and I put a little bit of money into it. I fixed up the tires and, you know, got some minor things tweaked and overhauled for him, and what you saw in that video was the night of his birthday. We were in Sioux Falls. I can't remember what damn state it's in. I think it's Kansas or Nebraska, Sioux Falls, wherever the hell it falls up. But that's the night we played this show, and I gave him his motorcycle back as a birthday gift.
Oh, right on. Well, and, you know, we're bringing this stuff up, man, because, you know, so many Sturgis and the big rallies have become, you know, these great places as far as live music venues go, because a lot of times, you know, those regions, that's the only time that they're going to see entertainment of that caliber. But it means so much more to us when somebody like you comes out that is genuinely a rider and part of this culture and everything to begin with. It makes it that much better.
Yeah, I don't know to what extent I'm part of the culture, but I know that there's always been a very deep respect from me for motorcyclists and for, you know, for working class people. I know what it's like to save up, buy a motorcycle and have it be my only source of transportation. It's as close to as our modern civilization can come to being a cowboy. That was my horse for a while. That was how I got to work. It was how I got everywhere I went, and I had to work hard to earn the money to take care of it.
Right on. So how did you go, and first, thank you for serving in the Marine Corps. How did you go from being in the Marine Corps to on these great big stages and being Jamie Johnson?
Well, even when I was in the Marines, I'd break out a guitar and play some songs for the guys here and there, and thank God they loved them. And next thing I knew, I was, you know, when we had downtime, I was asked to get on this Hummer and go see this officer over here, and basically being passed around like a like a party favor, especially out in the field. That's where the things that, you know, that we hold dear are the most scarce, and it's music and camaraderie and that sort of thing. And you know, it always felt good to me to be able to provide that to the Marines I served with. And so, you know, every chance we got, man, we'd break out the guitar, crack open a beer or whatever, and try to gain some sense of normal.
Right on.
Right on. Well, again, thank you for your service. And You probably hear this a million times, but the first time I ever heard the song "The Dollar," I cried. Like I'll never forget it because it rang so true.
If I'm being 100% honest, I cried writing it.
Did you?
Really?
It really hit home for me. I had to pull over. I was on my way back to Nashville from the Gulf Coast of Alabama. This was after Hurricane, I want to say it was Ivan hit, and it was probably somewhere around '04. It was about a year before Katrina, and Ivan just messed up the Gulf Coast of Alabama. So I went down there to help out some adjusters, writing estimates and that sort of thing. I had a construction company for a while. We did insurance restoration and that sort of thing. So I learned how to write an estimate on their software, and just kind of went down there to help out. And I thought I'd be down there a couple of weeks, and hell, I was down there 3 months. Well, I had a newborn at home, and so I was on my way back home, and remembering my childhood where my dad worked all the time. We'd go weeks on end and wouldn't see him because he's coming in after we went to bed, and when we get up in the mornings, we're told not to wake him up. He needs to sleep. Yeah. And so I started thinking about that and how would I explain to my kid me being gone for 3 months.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And even now, actually, I hear it and it will catch me off guard and I'll still cry. Because I know, with my kids, I worked a lot, mostly single mom, working a couple jobs to support 2 kids. It's, you wonder, are you making the right choice? So I totally get it. Totally get it. But it's fantastic. One of my favorites of yours.
I appreciate your perspective on it.
All right on, man. Yes, sir. Well, it's gonna be awesome. I know the Iron Horse is going to be a madhouse the night that you're there, and that's also lucky for us, the night of our big industry party and the Baker burnout drags, and so it's going to be on at the Iron Horse.
You can do the drags. I'm going to go watch Jamie. That's the deal.
Well, perfect. I may be over dragging with him. I don't know.
Right on.
Right on. We'll make sure you have a bike. We'll make sure you have a bike. But again, we know how busy you are, and I truly thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come on and chat with us. I know a lot of people are excited to see you in Sturgis. Hopefully we'll actually get a chance to say hi in person real quick while you're there.
Well, I'm excited to get there. This will be my first time coming to Sturgis.
Is it really?
Really?
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you get any extra time? Are you coming in for the show and splitting, or are you going to be able to actually do some riding and enjoy the rally?
I'm not sure how much time we'll have there right now. I know I've got a show a couple of days before that. Me and Chris Stapleton are playing a show.
Dude, that would be. I'd love
Detroit,
to see
Lakes,
you and Chris
Minnesota.
together. That'd be so badass.
Hey, Chris is one of my favorite writers. He's one of my favorite singers and has been for years.
Me too.
What a show, though. You and Chris, fantastic.
He and we've been writing some together.
Oh, that's exciting.
I got to tell you too. As far as showmanship, what an amazing show to go see. Heather and I saw him at the Austin 360 in that big old stage. Him and all his people were just grouped together in a little circle, and they tore that place down, man. It was awesome.
It's a reminder that you can do a lot with smoke and mirrors and lights and digital drop screens and all this sort of stuff, or you can just be Chris Stapleton and stand there and deliver.
Yeah, it's about the music, and you get that.
Sure
So
is.
I'm really looking forward to seeing you, because I have a feeling that you're very much going to be very much about the same way. It's about the music and doing what you love to do.
Well, that's what I enjoy the most. I enjoy my band. And these guys are packed. They're ready to bring it. Every member of my band has their own band that they gig on the side. So I've got a band full of band leaders.
That's awesome.
I've got a horn section that'll blow your mind too. These guys
I can't wait! I'm so
dude,
excited.
I can't wait for the show. I can't wait.
Man, you have a lot of fans. Even watching this show right now. Everybody says they're ditching the drags and going to watch Jamie. So
they're in the same spot. It's
yeah,
good.
thankfully it'll all be in the same spot.
We can raise a little hell on both ends of the property.
Well, we're gonna do our part.
Right on, right on.
So listen, I'm going to make this pledge to you. If you end up with extra time, we have a little stage there called Grease and Gears Garage opposite of the big stage at the Iron Horse, and we'll be doing stuff all week. If you get any extra time at all, I will make sure you either have one of my choppers, or we'll find a way to make sure you have a bike to take a rip. If that's your first time in Sturgis, you got to do a ride.
Well, thank you for the kind invitation. I may take you up on it.
Oh, please do.
Absolutely.
We usually bring a truckload of bikes, so there's something available for you.
That'll be nice. Thank you.
Yes,
Our
sir.
pleasure.
Well, tell everybody where they can keep up with you. We got your website up here now, but what's your social media handles? How can they follow Jamie Johnson and the tour?
Oh, my publicist is probably somewhere kicking herself right now listening to this, but I can't actually remember.
I'll take care of it. It's the official Jamie Johnson, and I'll post those links in our comments for people to check you out and catch your tour dates. And if anybody has an extra ticket to the Jamie Johnson Chris Stapleton concert, I may be able to be convinced to skip out of Sturgis to go see it.
That'll be in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota.
Right on.
Yeah.
You better ask if he has some side work on with the band before you split Sturgis on us. All right, man. Well, listen, thanks again for the time, and we can't wait to see you in South Dakota, man.
Thanks, y'all. Talk to you soon.
All right, later on.
Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be...
Everybody's offering up their motorcycle. Rebecca, he can have my FXR.
Yeah, I'll be working anyway.
Oh. Sorry if I overran that, Patrick.
No, that's great. Yeah, I love it that it's his first time to Sturgis. That's pretty crazy, really.
Right?
I know.
It'd be kind of a bummer. I know he's probably busy, but man, he's got to go take a ride.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we can get him on one.
Yeah.
That's we're pretty lucky with getting these big musicians out for their Sturgis Virgin trips. Like Xavier, when he was still playing with Buck Cherry, he came out to Sturgis, and it was his first time ever coming, not playing.
Yeah.
And he had only ever been there to go to the Buffalo Chip, play on the stage, and split.
So all we ever saw was the back of the house at Buffalo Chip.
And he
and
came
now
out,
look, total corruption. Total
right, we
motorcycle
totally
corruption.
ruined him.
It's so good. It's so good that we ruined him.
So, but what was great is his first year there was also the year we got married. So Hav actually DJ'd our wedding.
Oh wow!
You can see pictures. Michael Lichter took a ton of pictures of our wedding. You can actually see pictures in the background. He's there in his flannel, like working the board.
It was awesome.
That's hilarious.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Sturgis
man,
Virgin, love it.
That's crazy.
So another big question for you is the Baker Burnout drags are back.
Yes.
Is there going to be a monkey suit appearance?
Not the first time this question's been asked. I think there will be some sort of appearance. I do have some questions.
Okay.
Do we know if it's the same style of situation as far as like how it goes off like mechanically?
We're going to have a Christmas tree to signify the start, so both stage lights will come up, and then it'll be boom, boom, boom. The start will kick off.
Perfect.
And it's, run through the gears.
Okay, and then, a good friend of mine and yours, my brother, Mr. Darren McCaig, is staying with me during this shindig, and I don't know what it would take to convince him. I'm sure he'll hear this.
I believe he's already actually put his name on the list.
That's awesome.
And I think I heard something about fire.
I'll bring some starting fluid in the lighter, and we'll make it happen.
Dude, honestly, because there's two things. I have one of Steve Kelly's like most memorable images for me, and you're doing a burnout, and you have something up in the air. Darren's doing the flaming burnout. Me and Bill Dodger trying to hold on to the front of his bike. It was seconds before.
That was bedlam. That whole thing was just absolute insane. I mean, that was as close to like pure chaos as you could get when that whole thing went down. Like,
Yep.
that was awesome. And I don't know if you remember, but like Rusty Wallace was in the crowd, like standing right there too. And I remember after it was done, he was talking to Darren and I. He's like, "That was so cool," and we're like,
Yeah, he
"You're
said.
Rusty Wallace."
He said, "You guys are crazy." We're like, "Dude, you ride like 250 miles an hour around the track," and he was like, It ain't crazy like that.
Yeah, that was nuts. That was a really good Sturgis night. That was an unforgettable one. But yeah, I'm in, man. Let's yeah, there will be some sort of hairy animal, even if it's just me shirtless.
Brad Gregory said that was the best night in Sturgis ever.
So also though, you have one of the coolest events that I've ever heard anybody putting on in Sturgis this year.
He's got a couple cool ones.
But this one specifically, for me, which one do you think I'm talking about?
PB and J Run?
That's right, baby.
I'm excited about the Hooligan Hill Climb.
I'm a fat guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Those are too good. So Damon Woodruff and I were talking about doing like I generally, I mean, I don't know if you I took some flack for this a few weeks back. I wrote an article about how riding in a pack sucks, and it just started this insane little conversation, which is great. So I'm not generally a fan of those rides, but so Damon and I were talking about doing one. And I'm like, let's do one and have it be like kind of like the anti-ride. Like, you know what? Here, let's go for a ride, and you get a freaking sandwich is what you get. So this is gonna be kind of like a loose ride. I mean, typical kind of Chip Camp Zero. Is least structured. Anything goes.
That's great.
And we get back, we'll have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but there's going to be some shenanigans afterwards, I'm sure. I had an idea because Damon's like, when we get back, we got to do something. We got to have fun and have games. And I had an idea from watching an old Stern Show episode. So I'm just throwing this out there. I'm pretty sure Damon's taking me up on it. So you get a partner, and we'll be a certain distance apart. I recommend you should probably be shirtless. I will be. And you get halves of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Yeah, and you get so much time to have peanut butter and jelly halves of sandwiches at the other person, and whoever sticks the most wins. And I don't know what the prize is.
Oh my God!
Just yet, but
a jar of peanut butter.
Something. So
it needs to be like.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had time. Like, I hate to pat myself on the back, but I make the best peanut butter on the face of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
You remember when I got with Heather, I was down at 200 pounds, right?
Hey.
Yep. That's what happened. That's
it
what
was
happened.
The peanut butter?
The peanut butter and the pasta.
I cook a lot.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And we're kicking that one off on the 2nd. So when everything kind of before, right away we're going to get into that one. And the reality of that was we have the 2 bikes that you can win with us, with JMP, Chip, and Geico. Last year we did 1. This year I built 2. And so we have a Scout and a Street Rod. And those will be on the ride, and you can sign up to win those. They've been touring all year. But yeah, they give them away live on stage at the Chip in typical Chip fashion. You win motorcycles right on the spot.
Creamy or crunchy, Eric Miner's asking. Someone said Nutella. Nutella, there's dope in that. There's dope in that. I'm firmly convinced, because that and Ben and Jerry's ice cream, I can't put it down until it's just gone and I have no choice.
I made a Nutella peanut butter sandwich the other day, and I almost went into a coma.
A sugar coma.
Yeah, it was awesome. Can't believe I didn't think of it sooner.
Oh, man.
All right, so real quick, I want to remind you guys
PB
that...
and Fluff, that's the best sandwich ever. That's per Judy.
That's pretty strong. Yep.
But you have to have the fluff from New England. I'm sorry.
That's enough about the fluff. You're making me hungry. My belly's growling here. We are coming to you from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio. Shop Talk every week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can do your part by hitting the share button and making sure you have your alert set up so you know when we go live and you can come live with us. I think we're gonna get off of the fluff thing here for a minute. We're gonna try to head out to our second guest of the hour. As we talked about, Stacy is the Ride with Food. Right. Killer idea, great website. She's got together everything, not just food, but she does reviews on gear and motorcycles and cool places, cool shops. So we're gonna see if we can get her on the phone right now.
Hello.
Stacy, how you doing? You're live on Shop Talk.
I'm good. How are you?
We're great, man. We're great. We're super fired up to talk to you.
Lovely.
And
Fire away. Ask me all the questions.
we're also kicking ourselves in the ass for never coming up with this idea because we ride the food all the time.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. It's so funny. That's like what everybody says. And I mean, not to go off on like a huge tangent, but it's actually an idea I came up with like, what year is it? 2019, back in like 2016 on my way to hot bike tour. And it took me this long to get it going. I just wanted to be in the right place at the right time to do it. So I'm stoked everyone's stoked on it, but
Well, and I'll tell you, like honestly, from the pictures that are scrolling by right now, and from looking through your website, doing show prep and everything, like you really ride some interesting places. Like you're doing some epic riding, and it's really like I just mentioned, it's a really a full approach to the culture that surrounds being out and traveling and the people that you're meeting and everything. So kudos from us for a job well done on that.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
To
Yeah, I think I use food as an excuse to ride most of the time. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a reason to go for a ride. Like, oh, I really want that burger, but it's 70 miles away. Let's just go.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I
Yep.
mean, I started out like working in Harley Davidson dealerships about 10 years ago, and that's all anyone did. And I mean, whether it's the hog chapter or employees, the dealership I worked at was closed Sundays and Mondays. So every Sunday we went and rode somewhere, and we always got at some spot. And like I've been places, where like all I know about is Love's Truck Stop, like taquito tornado things. You know what I'm talking about? They're like
Oh hell
two
yeah,
for a
yeah yeah.
buck.
Eaten many of those.
Right. And it was just kind of one of those things. I was like, man, I don't want to eat these everywhere I go. I want to be able to eat fast food. I want to be able to eat something that's local, or maybe it's just a motorcycle friendly place, or maybe it's owned by a motorcyclist. And I wanted to be able to highlight those things because it just makes your trip so much more interesting, or your weekend adventure. You don't have to go on some giant trip. You can go ride with your friends, 150 miles on a Sunday. So
Yeah, there's something about being on a motorcycle which you automatically, for me anyway, kind of seek those places out. If I'm taking a road trip in a car, I just kind of take what's in front of me. But if I'm on a bike, I'm gonna want to search out like the coolest little place, or hole in the wall, or like, oh, I heard this place has a good taco. Like something about being on your bike makes you want to go look for those like special places.
totally. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I was going to try and like go off on that, but I think you explained it perfectly. So, I feel like too, and I feel like because obviously on a bike, you're so much more aware of everything going on around you.
Yeah.
So I feel like you'll notice little things on the side of the road more often than if you're in a car. You know what I mean? Because people get so zoned out on road trips when they're in a vehicle that I don't think they'll notice. Like you won't notice the little rundown shack on the side of the road. That's probably a cool little saloon that's been there for 100 years. You'll
Yep.
probably look for your shiny McDonald's with the golden arches up
Yeah.
above. So
That's
Yeah, and I
how.
think you talk to people more on a bike too. I mean, if I stop at the gas station in my car, I'm not talking to anybody. If I stop on my bike, good chance I'm probably going to end up talking to somebody. So you better chance of finding like the good local spot.
totally, no, definitely agree with you guys on that. What are some of your favorite spots that you guys go ride? I don't know where everyone's exactly based, but what's like kind of your favorite spot to go?
One of my most favorite, and this goes along with the food thing too. A few years ago, actually on our honeymoon ride, Heather and I got to ride the Lost Coast of the
Yeah.
Pacific Coast Highway, which is way north of the most famous attractions on the Pacific Coast Highway. But it's beautiful, man, and it's like all these little fishing towns, and like according there's all these little
that
fresh
little
fish
sandwich
restaurants.
shop with all the rubber ducks.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
place was the bomb.
yep.
When I'm back home, I was born and raised in. And when I'm back home, my favorite like go to would be going over to the coast and getting lobster in Maine because it was only an hour and 15 minutes. So you'd go get fresh lobster that was just caught that morning right off the boat. That was
Yeah,
my go to.
that's pretty
Nice.
great. That's pretty awesome. I actually live in Sturgis, it changes a lot, obviously, from rally time to non-rally time. But we were talking a little bit before the show, and there's a place in Beulah, Wyoming. You may have been there. So Beulah, I think it's exit 4. Beulah has, I don't know, maybe 50 people in it. But there's a place there called the Buffalo Jump Saloon. And just the best bison ribeye I've ever had. It's not a far ride, but it's really, really good. So Buffalo Jump Saloon, Beulah, Wyoming is a good one around here.
Nice. And that's up near Sturgis, like on the Wyoming side?
It's on the Wyoming side. So yeah, if you leave Sturgis, go through Spearfish, and then hit Wyoming. I think it says it's exit 4, but I think it's the first exit. And so you exit, and you'll see like a gas station with a really huge American flag. Hang a left, go into what would be considered Beulah, which is like a campground, a bar, a couple houses, and this saloon.
Nice. I actually haven't been there, but I mean, I'm headed up to Sturgis in a week. So, I mean, that could easily be a stop at some point in the week. That's kind of my thing this year. I haven't, every year at Sturgis, I've worked the last 4 rallies I've been to. So this is my 5th Sturgis in a row. And I'm kind of just focusing on ride to food stuff this year. So finding all the little spots that aren't exactly in town, that people can go ride to and find. So I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty stoked to find some of those spots.
There's a few people coming in from social media. Steve Burrell says Browns in New Hampshire.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Couple Steak and Shake, Nutella Shake. Oh my God.
That's Missy.
Missy also says live to ride to eat.
So my question is, what's your most favorite place that you've been for food and your least favorite? Like place that you would say never, ever again.
Oh my God, that's so hard. I'm such a foodie. I can think back to even before I had a motorcycle and think of food spots. I lived in Austin for a long time, so I'm kind of partial to a couple food spots there. And
we love Austin.
Yeah.
Tell me your spots.
Tell me all the things. Ramen Tetsuya is a ramen spot, and it's pretty authentic. They kind of have their own twist to it, and they've opened up a few other locations in Houston too. Really amazing ramen. I always get an extra egg there. That's always a spot I recommend. Yellow Jacket Social Club on the east side of town, as well as Little Darlin. They're both co-owned kind of by the same people, and Little Darlin's got some motorcycle riders backing it. They're both kind of hot spots, but they have amazing food. Like anytime people are in Austin, I'm like, you gotta go to those spots every time. As far as like bad food or places that like didn't really impress me, I mean, I don't know. There's so many places that it's like they just put stuff in a fryer, right? It's like it came in a frozen bag and it's probably like Tyson chicken nuggets. You know what I mean? Like your typical bar food, like those kind of spots. And I'm trying to think of stuff in Sturgis just since it's next week, but I try to avoid all those things. I'm like, I'm gonna go somewhere that's going to be good, like Yelp's kind of helpful. People on Yelp are a little bougie at times though. And they're a little too picky, but a picture tells 1,000 words. Like I can tell if something was like a fried pickle that was frozen in a bag or if they made those in house, Right. So
one of the rough things about Sturgis during the rally too is a lot of the places they cut their menu down to like a third to make it easier, to get through stuff. So sometimes if you in Sturgis proper during the rally, you're really getting like a secondhand menu at certain spots.
I do know one place that I'm going to go during Sturgis, actually, and it's the Buffalo Chip, because I specifically want their apple, bacon, and Swiss grilled cheese sandwich. I saw that online the other day, and I was like, I have to have that. I have to have that in my life. It just sounds too good.
So, speaking of Texas, one of the things from your website is the most infamous chopper shop in the world, and being a good friend of Rick's and being at his place a bunch of times. Like, can you believe the food that comes out of that joint?
I haven't had the pleasure of eating there yet.
Yeah,
I ate there once, and it was when those photos in that blog article are probably 3 years old, I would guess. So I haven't been in a long time. I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
Yeah,
what I remember.
It's good, and for me, it's always a trip being around Rick. He loves this stuff so much, and he's a blast to be around. So I think that adds to it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
You like things based on the people too.
Yeah,
You know.
Yep.
That's a big thing for me too, though. I mean, if the people suck, you know, and or even if it's just your waiter sucks and they're just rude, or your bartender isn't paying attention to you, the food could be good, but it just takes that experience down.
Yeah.
You know, so when the people that own the place are super rad and like people waiting on you are rad, like that adds to it. It makes you want to come back, even if the food's 3 out of 5 stars. Just that'll make you come back at times. You know what I mean? So, but when I was there, I didn't meet Rick, but I think it's really cool that for anyone that's traveling through Dallas and wants to go to Strokers, they have like an open door policy. So you're not limited to just hang out in the bar. If you want to like walk through and see, you know, like a bike build going on in the back, you can do that.
Yeah.
There's always people walking around, and I thought that was rad because I've never really seen that before. So
there's some more coming in. Obviously, everyone's gonna agree on Sweeto Burrito. Especially
absolutely.
if you've ever been drunk at 3:30 in the morning at Sturgis,
I've
You've
never
probably
had
seen me in
Sweeto
line.
They are up and running this week.
I saw that. I've never.
Dude, I'm coming for the American.
I've never had Sweeto Burrito. I have to say, when it comes to rallies, I'm a total food snob. I don't know if it's because I've done it for so long, or I've heard too many horror stories. But my favorite place to go during a rally is my kitchen.
Let me go through a couple of these real quick. So Jason Sims recommends the Sled House in Lead.
That's a good call. Yep.
Mike Draco, Scioto River in Portsmouth, Ohio. Chris No, Nemo Fireman's Breakfast is great. Blast down Van Arker Canyon to get there. Drew Woodford, Roadhouse Burger, and Big Earl's Greasy Eats in Cave Creek. Missy says there's a caramel apple joint in the Chip too. L.A. Risa on Lizelle is awesome. Little Taco and burrito place that opened last year. And there was...
Oh, Drew, the name of the place in Wendover, it had... Dang it, Drew, I don't remember.
Yeah.
That little Mexican place you were talking about?
They made the breakfast stuff with the chorizo.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Best
so
breakfast
good.
ever.
So good.
Well, it wouldn't be like any kind of motorcycle trip of any sort without ice cream. So
Right.
there's one spot, and I know some people try to avoid Main Street at all costs. Some people like to, you know, drive down at once, get their photo with their GoPro, whatever, and be done with it. There's a Town and Country Plumbing, I believe is what it's actually called.
Yep.
And it turns into an ice cream shop / like Indian taco joint during the rally.
Yeah.
And
Really?
the food's really cheap and it's really good. I mean, an Indian taco is an Indian taco. So
Yeah.
like you can't church those
And
up
thank
too
God
much.
for that. Thank
Yeah.
God
Yeah,
for that.
they're so good. But
It's right next to the Dungeon Bar on Main.
yes, that's exactly
Yep.
where it is. Yeah. I always go there. Honestly, I probably go there every other day during the rally and grab a scoop of ice cream. So
Oh, we need to remember that. Ice cream is my thing.
and I think it's seriously like $3 for a cup, or like it's super appropriately priced. It's like you see the price and you're like, oh, I can't even complain. I'm gonna be back in 5 minutes and get more.
Yep.
There's a place also in Deadwood. I can't remember the name of the store, but it's like a lower level, third
Oh,
level,
their ice cream.
and there's ice cream.
Yeah.
And it's like I think it's frozen custard too.
Oh, I don't
It's
know.
really good, man.
Weimer's Donuts. Weimer's Bakery on Main Street
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
So
for donuts and pastries, fantastic.
Weimer's
I
is the
love how-
longest running business on Main Street Sturgis at about 66 years, I think they're at right now.
No
Wow.
kidding.
7 to 2 every day. Homemade turnover style donuts, cash only. Don't
Yep.
bring your cards.
Yeah, it's incredible. I've placed my order for, I think we have like 4 different mornings we're doing donuts, and I already placed my order for them just to make sure I get them.
There's
Yep.
there's one that I forgot. Ricky Bongos brings up. Sugar Bear has great burgers at his spot in Sturgis too. Highly recommend to ride by there and check it out. So Sugar Bear started the Chopper Museum, and from its humble beginnings, we expect to see this thing grow into a real staple in the history of the custom motorcycle culture on the chopper side. So
I love that Jason and Jeffrey Coltrane are throwing places out because we're
Yeah.
going to be in
Right.
Sturgis for a week after. So
Okay.
we're getting down on some good food while we're there afterwards.
Definitely. Yeah,
There's
I love just listening to everyone get stoked on food. Everyone's like, "Oh, there's this spot, there's this spot."
There's a place in Deadwood, right down from Doug Sick Boy's shop there, called Eagle Bar. Insane burgers. Generally, burgers that are like super, super huge kind of lose me a little bit, but these, the taste match the size. Really, really good. Eagle Bar right there in Deadwood. Really, really good burgers.
Really? See, that's my
There's-
thing. Oh, go ahead, Stacey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this
No,
is supposed
it's
to be
okay.
her interview.
No,
Talk
I
about
love
food.
I love listening to everyone talk. It's fine. There's especially if you like burgers. There's the Sugar Shack. You can take a dirt road.
Yeah.
I want to say it's from Nemo, and you take. I mean, if you don't like riding on dirt, you probably shouldn't ride this road. But if you're comfortable on dirt or gravel roads, absolutely take this little road over. But it'll drop you right in front of the Sugar Shack.
So
that place is supposed to be one of the best spots in the area to get burgers, from what I've been told.
It is very good. So if you go down Nemo Road, the first gravel will take you. It's 5 miles of gravel. It's not bad, and you'll dump you out on 385. And Sugar Shack is right there on 385 in the corner of this gravel. That's also, if you want to ride dirt trails here, like every good dirt trail empties out over there by Sugar Shack. So when it's not rally time, normally the parking lot's just full of dirt bikes and side-by-sides. But that's a great call.
Yeah.
Sugar Shack is excellent.
Yep.
Jason.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jason Sims. I didn't know you guys did this. Jason Sims not only has the motorcycle cannonball and the chase, which we're going to be having him on pretty soon to talk about, but he also owns the Glencoe campground. And he just said he has the steak and take. Pick out your slab of premium beef or bison and take it over to their flavored pits and grill it yourself.
Brilliant.
That sounds amazing.
The man is a genius.
Genius.
That sounds so good.
So I think we have a free night on Friday. We'll be there
Here we come.
for sure.
All right, so let's get back. Like when you started this originally, did you have this broad approach where it was riding and food and everything, or was it just a more narrow focus on the ride and food? And when did you add that, if not?
So it was always originally going to be mainly about food. I would say that I've kind of broadened it a little bit more to incorporate just a couple more aspects of like the culture in and of itself, right? In the traveling side, in the tips and all that. That's kind of, I would say, in the last 6 months. When I first started this, it was literally I was in Nashville. I was staying at a girlfriend's house, pouring rain, and luckily she let me borrow her car to go grab dinner. And I went and found Nashville hot chicken. I didn't even know what Nashville was known for. Like, I really had no clue. I'm not Guy Fieri knowing, like, all the food culture spots everywhere, right? And so I was like, man, what do I do in Nashville? Like, is there a cool motorcycle spot? Is there anything? And she had no clue. And I was like, man, it'd be cool if there was, like, a place, like a website or an Instagram account or something I could go to that told me about all of this. And that's geared a little bit more towards motorcyclists and what they're into. And so I sat there at that little bar that night and I was like, what can I call this? Like, if I really started this business. And Ride to Food was the first thing I came up with, like Live to Ride, Ride to Food. And it just stuck. And I never really thought of anything else. So it was always primarily going to be about the food part of it.
I gotta tell you something. This we're letting your website scroll by as you're talking, and this Tommy Knocker Brewery, whatever it was that you had in front of you right there, I have got to go to this place and take it to the face.
That's a grilled cheese. That place is amazing. It's really good. And that's one of the like older kind of spots up in Idaho Springs too, which if you're ever in Denver, Idaho Springs is 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes without traffic from downtown Denver. And it's the closest town that'll take you up to Mount Evans, which is the highest paved road in North America. So the road dumps you at like 14,000 feet, which is really cool. So.
Whoa.
Yep. Love it. Well, I think you're doing some really killer stuff here, man. We're super fired up. I know we've been waiting for a while to get the right time to bring you on with us and get a chance to talk. And
Yeah.
We'd love to make sure we actually meet you in person in Sturgis. We're going to be
Absolutely.
doing our Grease and Gears Garage every day at the Iron Horse Saloon, which is, we have our own stage and we do live DIY segments, we do interviews, we do product spotlights. But come say hi. We'll be there every day.
And not
Yeah,
only that,
definitely.
I offer you one complimentary walk down to Sweeto Burrito with us, and I will hook you up. I'll hook you up.
All right. I'm there. I'm already there. I'm at Sweeto Burrito at approximately the best place to meet me if anyone's watching or listening to this podcast right now. Best place to meet me during the Sturgis Rally is at about 3 a.m. at the Sweeto Burrito truck, because I'm there every
That's
night
awesome.
after
That's
partying at the Iron Horse.
So you've probably met most of our staff.
Yeah, probably. I've been to a couple of those do-it-yourself things that you guys do at the Iron Horse. Last year, I want to say it was last year. As you guys know, rally times kind of start to mesh together after you've been to enough of them.
Yeah.
But you guys chopped a frame a couple years ago on a Sportster, and Pat from Lead Sled was up there kind of doing the talking and whatnot. I was there for that one.
He was doing a lot of the drinking, actually. I remember that. I remember that bottle. That bottle costed me like $140 or something.
Yeah, that bottle costs like $220.
Yeah.
Pat's not allowed on our stage.
It turns
again.
out when you tell the bartender at a rally place, just take care of Pat, whatever he wants. He tells them he wants the bottle. They still charge you by the shot.
Yes. Just keep that in mind.
Whoa.
Dang it.
Yeah, they charge you the full retail price of what they would make on that bottle.
It was worth it. It was a good time.
No, it wasn't. I didn't even get a drink.
All right. Well, listen, tell everybody where they can keep up with you. In addition to ridethefood.com, where all can they follow the adventures of Stacy Wilt?
Well, you can follow me on my personal page, which is at Stacy Wilt on pretty much any social channel. It's STACIWILT. Or if you just want to follow the Ride to Food stuff and find food spots or roads to ride or whatever else, it's Ride to Food on any social channel as well. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, it's just that main domain / Ride to Food stuff.
What is your what's your next big adventure? What do you have planned?
So Sturgis is a week from now, but I think I'll be flying out to the East Coast in September probably, and getting a rental bike. And then I think I'm going to, because that's about the time that all the leaves start to change up in like New Hampshire and whatnot.
Peepers.
And yep, I'm going to be a peeper.
Right
And take a bike up through the White Mountains of New Hampshire, I think, and check some stuff out. So.
Well, can I suggest to you one more food thing?
Do not suggest your old people restaurant.
No. That's awesome. If you end up in Laconia, New Hampshire, there's a place called.
Don't go there.
No,
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
have to go there. There's Thanksgiving dinner with all the trimmings, 365 days a year. I don't care what Heather says about it being an old people's place. Any place where you can get Thanksgiving dinner any day of the year is awesome.
Stacey,
You're both correct. It's an old people restaurant, and you should go there.
my family is from Maine, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts. Let me know when you go. I'll make sure you get good food.
Well, and
Awesome.
and here's one thing to keep in mind. If you're already in New Hampshire, take one of the, I don't know the route number, but any of the country routes out through Vermont, they do these things called the Vermont Scrambler at all the little bed and breakfasts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. So good. So good. They just throw everything they have in the kitchen that's even slightly related to breakfast into one giant bowl, and it's heaping, and it's awesome.
It sounds good. I love breakfast food, so I'll let you guys know when I finally get all that figured out. I mean, who knows? My next trip could be down to Texas. I haven't decided which way I'm going after Sturgis. So I will be at the Four Corners Motorcycle Rally during Labor Day weekend. That's kind of my next trip after Sturgis, which will be riding, $1 Million Highway and all that out there. So after that, it's September, so the opportunities are kind of endless after that. So.
Right on. Well, I guess there may be a chance that we end up running into you at Four Corners, too. We'll see how things go.
Perfect. Well, we are doing, we haven't gotten a date set, but there is going to be an all-women's motorcycle ride to downtown Durango. We have a portion of the street blocked off down there, and it'll be women's motorcycle parking only. So that's pretty cool. We just we're getting that going right now. I'm probably not supposed to talk about it yet, but whoops, sorry, Oaks, if you're watching this. And just wanted to throw that out there if anyone's watching that's going out to Four Corners for it. So.
Well, folks, Shop Talk viewers and listeners, Stacy Wilt, ridetofood.com. Make sure you check her out. Check out her social media and get some good tips. Maybe give some too. I mean, we're writing down notes as we go here.
Me too. Perfect.
Right. Well, thanks for coming on, Stacy. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, and we'll see you in the Black Hills.
All right. We'll see you soon.
All righty.
All right.
Awesome.
I want to ride motorcycles and eat good food.
I'm so hungry right now.
Oh,
I'm
man.
starving. We had today was one of those days where we had breakfast at like 8 o'clock, and that was it.
You know,
Yeah, I'm a huge breakfast guy. I gotta have breakfast, or it just kind of screws up my whole day.
Yeah.
I can't give it. I can give up the other meals. Can't give up breakfast.
Yep.
so tell us some more cool events for Sturgis.
So yeah, we really kind of start off with a bang there. We do the PB&J ride, but on the 4th is the Buffalo Chip TT, and we're actually at JP. We're doing something pretty cool. We did it last year for the first time. We're doing it again this year. We have a VIP Gold Club area, which is on one of the elevated decks at the Chip. And if you're a Gold Club member, come see us. Otherwise, if you buy or renew a Gold Club at JMP, and we have a limited amount of these tickets, I believe there's 75, you get a ticket to the race, and you can get into our VIP area. If you're a Gold Club member and you're at the Chip during the race, come up there, show us your Gold Club card. You can get into the VIP area. You get drink tickets. You get free hors d'oeuvres, and it's like an elevated spot to watch that TT, and you can pretty much see 85% of the track from where we're standing. So that's kind of a cool deal if you're a Gold Club member.
That's
Right
pretty
on.
cool.
Yeah,
You know-
and then go ahead.
No, I was just going to tell you, like, you know, so much of this is available through jmpcycles.com, Countersteer. Like, you guys are killing it with this thing.
Dude, all of us over there, Brian Harley, myself, Brian Rastock, Brent Brooks, so many people are writing for us, and Brian Harley is kind of heading up that whole show. And we're really putting a lot of effort into it, and we're getting a lot of good feedback. So we're just trying to put stuff up that are keep people interested, and kind of keep preaching the motorcycle gospel. And we do have a schedule up there.
Oh,
Brian
it's
just
great.
put it up yesterday, and it's across the board, everything. And I was looking at it before we got on. The concerts across the board this year at Rally are insane. I don't know if I've seen a better concert lineup like Rally wide ever.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I'm excited. We get to bring this year's Twisted Tea bike out onto the Buffalo Chip stage right before Godsmack.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That's going to be
That's gonna be
awesome.
awesome.
Last year it was before. I don't remember.
Which is going to be
was
interesting
awesome,
when
but-
Mark sees Scully again.
No.
Scully, I'm sorry. Scully.
We're going to keep those two far away from each other. It did not go well
They
this
went
time.
riding together before.
Oh really?
Oh, yeah.
So I just posted a link to your schedule that you guys so kindly put together in our comments. So if people want to see that, they can
Awesome.
check that out there at JP Cycles Countersteer, which is a killer platform you guys are working on.
We're trying. On the 5th, we're having the TT is the 4th. On the 5th, the Bauman brothers, who we're a sponsor of the Factory Indian team. So
Yep.
the Bauman brothers and Brad Baker will be at JMP Cycles. They're at 1650 The Zell, our store, from 1 to 3, signing autographs, talking to people. If you've never met the Bauman brothers, I don't know if there's a nicer two dudes in professional racing, period.
Right.
Those guys are just all American dudes, man. And then, Brad Baker is absolute legend. So come talk to those guys, man. They're good guys to talk to. They love motorcycles, they love racing, and they're really fast on top of it. Breyer's crushing this year, leading the points.
Yep.
So talk some bench racing with those guys. Tell them how fast you are. I'm sure they love to hear it.
So, I've been watching you at the races, and you could probably pick up a second a lap if...
Oh,
Oh man, I bet they love that. Give them some pointers, guys.
Yeah.
Go.
Because obviously
yeah,
they're not
yeah.
thinking about that ever.
well, that's like
yeah,
when
it's
people
got to
call.
be awesome.
You know what you should do in the magazine?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do tell.
Yeah, please tell me. Chris has been doing this for 23 years. He hasn't figured it out yet.
And then Heather, you brought this up earlier. We are doing the Hooligan Hill climb at the Chip on
That's
the 6th.
awesome.
That's going to be a badass day because it's not only it's Hooligan Hill climb from 12 to 2, and basically what that means is don't bring your nitro burning BSA or whatever. It's hooligan rules. It's got to have basically a twin street bike, we'll get loose with it. If you bring something out there that's got a plate on it and you want to run it, here's the kicker: it's a side-by-side race. So we don't have fancy timing equipment. We're literally racing to the top of the hill.
Can we bring our mini bikes?
Bring whatever you want. Like we talked about doing it in an appropriate class. Damon might kill me, but I'm saying the more the merrier. We don't really, I'm sure we'll have some sort of prizes, but this is just good old-fashioned grudge racing, side by side. I'm looking at the track, and I want to throw a little curve in there. We were talking about this. It may be more of a West Coast style to where you're going to take off, you're going to have to make a left, a right, and then like a sweeping turn up the hill. So it may not be just a straight-on race. You may have a turn or two before you have to actually get into the meat of the hill. So it could be interesting.
Right on.
Following that is the Sportster Show.
I know.
That is quickly becoming my favorite show.
Aside from the Cycle Source Bike Show,
aside from the Cycle Source Show, sure. Just because of the insanity. I mean, just because of the insanity that Pat Patterson and crew bring.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe I can get them to buy us a bottle this year.
Well, and
well,
the one thing about that too is like I talk about this every time we have the chance to get Pat on the show or to talk about him in a magazine. When we were kids, Pat made a commitment to make Sportsters cool, because there was that period in the middle between, when hot rod young guys used to race around on Sportsters and chase down British bikes. There was a piece in the middle where Sportsters got a stigma and became uncool.
Mm-hmm.
And Pat set out, to make Sportster choppers and Sportster chopper parts and make Sportsters cool. And he really has. And like all the way up to like an event that just absolutely exemplifies the Sportster culture that's around this, So it's awesome.
So you guys, you know my feeling on the Sportsters, and he just crushes with them.
Yeah.
So let's take a break here from all this lovely chatter because we could go on all night. We do have a third guest. It's Tyler Malinky from Lowbrow, who's going to be chatting about Fuel Cleveland this weekend. I'm so disappointed we can't go, but we solidified our spot for 2020. It's going to be awesome.
Hi, you've reached Tyler Malinky. Please.
Okay.
Well, maybe not. So now we can keep chatting.
Right. Go ahead.
I'm sure he's probably just busy getting the show ready for this weekend. Again, it is Fuel Cleveland weekend, along with Mountain Fest weekend and 100 other things going on. So, Patrick, have you been to Fuel Cleveland? Patrick?
Yeah, hello.
Oh, have you been to Fuel Cleveland?
No, I have not. It's always kind of close to Sturgis, and we're ramping up. I've always wanted to go. Never been, but like it's definitely one that I have to make it to.
Yeah, that's what Chris and I said. We had a great talk with the guys over at Lowbrow last week about it, and we're going to be working a little closer with them in the coming months, which is exciting. But we've actually blocked it out for 2020 next year, and we're going to be a bigger part of it, hopefully, is our goal, because it just, it's the place to be. And if you love two wheels.
It looks like one of those shows where you just is a can't miss. And really, if you're not like a deep in the industry honk like myself, it's a good time. It's a great time because you hit right before Sturgis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of gaps in the schedule, as you guys know, anymore.
No.
So they actually didn't hit a bad spot there with where they're at. I just personally haven't been able to get over there, but it's not for lack of trying. I'll get there. If you guys are going to be involved next year, maybe I'll sneak over.
Oh,
Right
that
on.
would be awesome.
All right, I think we got Tyler ready, so hang on.
Hi, you've reached Tyler Malinky.
Maybe not.
Wait, here he is. Tyler, how you doing, man? You're live with ShopTalk.
Hey, man, how's it going?
It's awesome. It's awesome. Good and crazy for you right now?
Yeah, well, right now I'm finally relaxing a bit. We've been hustling all week, getting everything ready for fuel. Tomorrow's our big setup day. And I was wrapping up my own personal bike that was supposed to be in the show last year, and then I backed out of our own show because I didn't have it done. And so this year I couldn't do it again, or my partners, might kill me. So anyway, I was working on my bike all night, just getting it all set up, and now it's loaded in the van, so I'm ready for the morning for all the setup we're doing
Right
tomorrow.
on.
Yeah.
Skidding across the deadline. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Without a deadline, I'd probably never get anything done, you know?
Well, I'm so sorry to. I know you haven't slept. You guys are killing it trying to get ready for this, but man, we have to have that last minute talk about fuel
Yeah.
because it's absolutely exploding. Like fuel is becoming such an amazing show.
Man, that means a lot. I'm glad to hear that. You know, we're in it always, you know, working on the show and this and that, and you know, so we don't have that much of an outside perspective. But this is the 5th year, and every year it gets way bigger, and so definitely people are talking about it. You know, and 5th year, you know, we got a new venue this year, which is really good. It's killer spot, makes it's a little easier on our end as far as getting everything set up, so that's good because it's me and Mikey Revolt, who works at Lowbrow, does all our photography and video work, and then Jesse Bassett, who owns the Gas Box in Cleveland, and they do custom bikes, but also do a lot of OEM Harley exhaust pipe manufacturing, and as well as tons of other parts. But you know, the three of us, we do this for fun. You know, it's a free show, and we bust our butts. It's kind of crazy to do the amount of work for a one-day show, but we love it, and I love helping put on a good time and watching everyone enjoy it. You know,
Right on.
It's kind of crazy. You said it was a free show. I didn't realize that. That's a huge get for people, man. Like, you don't get that anymore.
Yeah, you know, we discussed it a couple years ago because we started off as a free show, and we discussed it a couple years ago because it's tough to put on and keep it free because there's a lot of expenses involved. But we're not doing it to make money, and that was kind of the talk. It was like, well, even if we charge $5 to get in, but we decided that wasn't the point. You know, we just want to. We're motorcycle enthusiasts. We want to, you know, kind of share our passion, and you know, it's family-friendly event. It's cool because, you know, being free. I mean, we got maybe 6,000 or 7,000 people last year, and I'm sure we'll have more than that this year. But you get tons of people from around Ohio, Northeast Ohio, Cleveland. But we get probably more than half the people are from out of state, all over Canada, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. I mean, Florida, all the way to California. I mean, people come from all over, and we've even had some people come in internationally, which blows me away. But yeah, it's we try and keep it free because honestly, I don't know, I can't think of any other free shows off the top of my head. And
neither can I. I think I'd feel bad. I'd want to give you something.
Well, you know, we get support from sponsors. We keep our sponsors to like 5 sponsors a year, just to keep it simple, and so everyone gets their value. But you know, Lincoln Electric has been a supporter. They're a Cleveland company, and Cheap Thrills out of Texas, Built Well helmets out of California, and you know, we basically, and Old Bike Barn, a motorcycle parts brand out of Columbus, and you know, we keep everyone happy because we don't have that many sponsors, and they pony up some cash, which is how we do the show.
That's great.
And you know, it all comes together every year. We always find people willing to support us. So.
Well, the show is killer, man. We definitely want to talk to you about a bunch of stuff while we have your ear for a minute. But
sure.
Before we get too far into things, so Lowbrow is where this is all centered around, and you know, we've time to time here on Shop Talk, we've played commercials, your products and stuff, but I have to tell you, I'm just finishing my my Lichter build right now, and the fender that I got from you guys, and look, it's gonna escape my mind the fender that I just got.
Sure.
But
it might be the Stingray or the Manta Ray or a Rogue fender. If it's
I think it's a Stingray. Super skinny, has a little rib.
Yep.
And
that's
dude,
a Stingray.
I have to tell you something. Like that fender, because Mark, my partner at Flat Broke, the body guy, he does all of the sheet metal that we ever do, and like we had to do almost nothing to that fender. That fender
good
was
to hear.
An absolute pleasure. Like you guys should be so proud of that product.
He actually said the same thing about the tank too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We don't just try and sling parts. We try and, you know, I'm actually sitting in my home garage right now, my home shop, and I mean, I work on bikes. This is what I do for a hobby, you know. Yeah. So I am my customer, and so are many of other people at Lowbrow. You know, we all work on bikes, build bikes, ride bikes. So you know, we're not just doing it to make a living. It makes us a living, but we do it because we love it, and we know what other people need. It's the same thing we need, you know. So that's kind of how the company started 15 years ago. I was sick of at that time it was real hard to find parts, you know, but I was sick of getting crappy stuff or bad service. So
Well,
yeah, we try and do good stuff. I appreciate the kind words.
There's nothing worse too, because I think the longer that you're in and around this stuff, you pick up more tools, you pick up more know-how, you
Yep.
know, and you forget what it was like when you were the guy in a little single car family garage that had limited tools. And like, there's nothing worse than saving up the money to get a part and then have to do a ton of work to it and have to go to your buddy down the street that has something you can use to straighten something out, or like
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a pain in the ass for the working man, dude. And like
Yep.
I commend you guys for keeping an eye on that quality.
Yeah, thanks. And we try and make everything attainable. We do a ton of parts. We do lots of fabricator parts, but we also do a lot of stuff where we take it as far as we can to make it like a painless thing for someone to install an oil tank. Or, we'll do oil tanks. We'll also do different brackets, rubber mount brackets, and fender mounting tabs and all these things that go with the part. So you can, someone might have a grinder and a vise in their garage, but if they got a welder, they can do quite a bit with some pretty basic tools, because of the different parts we make.
Nope. Yeah, and you guys really do. I mean, this has been this has been the second year for the Lichter show, but I think this has been the fourth bike between Lichter builds and the Twisted T builds that we've built almost entire motorcycles out of the stuff that we get from the catalog. So
that's awesome, man. It's good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely dig it.
So
thank you.
Real quick, and I'll only take a second to talk about this. One of your passions is racing.
Yeah.
And I know you're, as opposed to coming to Sturgis, you're getting ready to go to Speed Week. And I bring this up because our good friend Drew, who owns Buell Brothers Racing,
Yep.
says that you should come to BMST instead.
Yeah, I know. I know, Drew. Yeah, you know what? I've raced at Bonneville Speed Week every August since 20. Well, I missed a couple, but most years since 2010. And I've never made it to Motorcycle Speed Trials, which is an all motorcycle land speed racing event. Which is like the problem for me is that it's 2 weeks later, and we're from Ohio, and so we drive 2,200 miles to Utah and race for a week. And on a lot of times after that week of racing, my bike is not ready to rock anymore. It's like, it needs some attention, or sometimes I blew the motor or something. But, usually it's hard to drive home and then turn around and go back because we're already gone 2 weeks in August. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'd love to just race the whole month.
I know.
We'll make it out there. I've been planning it for years. We just have never pulled it off, So
we could offer you this humble suggestion. There's a little thing called the Marinara Mountain Run that Charlie and Kayla put on that is outstanding in Colorado. So you go to Bonneville for a week, hit Colorado, camp around for a couple days with the chopper jockeys up in the hills, come back down. I think people would get a real kick out of you guys.
That's what we do. We actually do Sturgis. We go to Marinara Mountain Run. We take a couple, 3 days R&R in Utah, and we ride horses and UTVs.
Yeah, nice.
And then we go to Bonneville.
Yeah, that's like our end of the year celebration.
Sounds amazing. My thing, the key I think would be having two bikes, and I've built 3 different land speed racing bikes, but only one of them I'm currently racing. But I'm building a new dual engine Triumph for next year. So having 2 bikes is nice because then I can run one event and run the other at another event or whatever, not beat it up too much.
What class is the new bike set up for?
Well, I'm just designing it now, but it'll be. I've got 2 sets of crankshafts for it, so I could run 1350cc or 1650cc, and it'll be special construction, vintage gas to start. So it's all the 1350 records are all held by a dual engine Indian Scout, but they used to be my records. They got beat by the Indian, and then the 1650 class, they're all panhead records, I believe. There might be a big inch flathead in there, but they're all Harley records. But
so you're going back to claim what's yours.
Yeah, I can claim what's mine, and then the Harley records. Unfortunately, I'll be able to beat pretty handily with my dual engine 1950 Triumph.
Nice.
But I ride Harley street bikes, love Harleys, but I do enjoy beating some Harley records with an old Triumph because they're my first love. My first bike was a Triumph, and I still love them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, I'll tell you what, for anybody who hasn't had the occasion to pick up a copy of Cycle Source magazine to see the articles that you guys turn in on your Speed Week experience, I believe it's just out, right? The one from last year. And I mean the pictures and like the whole package is just awesome. I look forward to it every year as much as I look forward to our trip to Bonneville and the stuff that we do, because it's independently two entirely different experiences, and I love it for that. I love that you guys go to that and cover it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I like the history, the longevity of Speed Week, and that's what we started going to. We have so many friends there. Now we'll be having our little group of motorcycle racers. We'll have this year, I don't even know off the top of my head, it's probably 6 bikes racing, all vintage stuff, and then probably 24 of our friends and family members who come out to crew, to race, to hang out, to do whatever, to support however they can. And then we get people popping in all the time on their way back from Sturgis, or people who are just making it out to spectate. And it's the best way, honestly, I could spend a week. It's wrenching, it's racing, it's going through every emotion possible, from sadness and anger to extreme joy. And I don't know, it's great to share it with our friends. And basically we're out there at sun up and we're on the salt until sundown. And we do that for a week straight, and it's just gearhead paradise pretty much.
Right on. Well, cool. So Fuel Cleveland, doors open tomorrow, or setup.
Doors open Saturday, the 27th. Yeah, tomorrow we're doing load in and setup and everything. Doors are at noon on Saturday. FuelCleveland.com, all the info. We've got a lot of stuff going on around Cleveland this weekend, though. We've got parties going on tomorrow, Friday night, and then we've got a couple different after parties happening Saturday night. And so people are already showing up in town as recently as yesterday. So there's more and more bikes and choppers riding around the city, and it'll be totally bananas by tomorrow evening.
That must have been why I thought the doors open tomorrow, because it seems like we've been watching social media and people have been on their way to Fuel Cleveland all week.
It turns into a big party. Man, I'm born and raised in Cleveland, and I'm proud to bring a bunch of people to Cleveland. I hear it all the time of like, man, I never would have come to Cleveland before, but it's pretty cool. So it feels good to bring people in and, kind of share our city with them, and it makes it a little easier because I don't have to travel too far. Just drive up the road,
Right on, man.
Yeah.
So tell everybody where they can other than the Lowbrow website proper, where can they follow along with your salt flat antics, the Fuel Cleveland stuff? You guys have been having some killer coverage already just on the builders coming in, but where can people keep up?
We've got a ton of content, long interviews and photos and all this photo coverage of a bunch of stuff on FuelCleveland.com is the website and blog. It's also got all the event info, Instagram and Facebook, Fuel Cleveland as well. And there's a ton of content there. And then when it comes to racing, mechanical, motorcycle how-to stuff, event coverage, you could check out Lowbrow Customs on Instagram, or we do more and more video content. So YouTube.com/Lowbrow Customs, and we've actually been getting a lot of content on Amazon Prime. So if you're on there and search motorcycle stuff, we've got 4 or 5 full-length motorcycle documentaries on there and a bunch of other good stuff. So if you're looking to watch something interesting and motorcycle related, you can find a bunch of content we put out there. That's all free as well.
Right on. Well, listen, man, we're gonna let you go so you can get some sleep before the craziness starts. But thank you. Thank you so much, and good luck to you in Bonneville this year. We'll be looking forward to seeing how that goes for you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right. Thanks very much for having me.
Yes,
Bye.
sir. Just incredible. I mean, like there's the story. That's one of those, people want to say today how the American dream story is dead. And like I've watched these cats over the years, like, starting out of a little spot and just they're killing it. They're killing it, and it's
and a free show, man. Like you never get that anymore. That's awesome.
I know, especially of that caliber.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they really very thoughtfully put the art and the motorcycles and they meld it beautifully, and yet they still keep it like true to its Rust Belt core.
So they're total Midwesterners for sure.
Yep, for sure.
So we got to go through the rest of the Sturgis stuff because we are only a week away.
Oh. Oh my God.
Wasn't that perfect?
Oh my God.
Come on.
So Kurt Green is here.
Oh.
He is, I said,
I saw you giving him the business.
He is Kurt Green, Bare Bones Leather. If you don't know who he is as far as leather work goes, You live under a rock.
We're both lucky Kurt even talks to us still.
I know.
At this
Well,
point.
especially because of you. We should change your name to Last Minute Larry.
I'll stick with Catastrophe Chris if we're coming up with Garbage Pail Kid names.
Oh.
So take us through some more Sturgis events, man. Where'd we leave off? The 6th?
Left off at the 6th, but the 7th is another big day. You guys have the Run to the Line, which I've never been able to do, and I'm going to try to do this year, but I have the Super Hooligan race at the Chip. We have the amateur class there, but I've wanted to get to the Run to the Line thing for a long time, and this might be the year I make it happen.
Well, and this year we're changing it up a little bit, too. We're actually going to do a run-up through Van Auker Canyon, so it's going to be a much easier proposition.
Van Auker is a great road, and it used to be a really, really good kept secret back when the first, half mile was gravel.
Yeah.
But now I think the secret's out.
I know, but an afternoon at the Nemo Guest Ranch kicks ass. I love it,
dude. That place rules.
Right?
I mean, it's great. I camped there a couple of years ago. It was like $9 a night or something.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember your footage from that. It was before you were living in Sturgis.
Yeah, it was.
Also on Wednesday, August 7th, don't forget about the Jack Pine Gypsies, Vert X Hill Climb, and Pro Hill Climbs.
And Baker's Run What You Brung drag races are Wednesday.
It's a big day.
It is.
Every day's a big day. It's crazy.
That day kicks off, and you mentioned the American Dream, and I got of course shout out my wife's deal here with the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum. Jill Parham is being inducted into, with others of course, but Jill obviously has a special place in my heart. Jill Parham is being inducted into the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum Hall of Fame. Yeah, and
really good class this year. I mean, overall,
crazy class.
Ron Paws getting in. That's killer in about time. I mean, fantastic. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's a really deep class. We just put out a little video with Jill, and it's interesting to listen to her talk because man, she's been through it. Man, she's been through the industry seen it from the bottom all the way to the top and everything in between.
Well, let's take a look at that for a second. We have that loaded up here.
Sure. Awesome.
We started the business with motorcycling. Wasn't very cool, and we weren't the coolest thing in town anymore, so they thought we were just, what are you bringing to this town, and it made us sad, and we showed them, I guess, didn't we? So, motorcycling became one of the best sports there is around, and the passion of the motorcyclist now is just unbelievable. In the very beginning, I don't think that people really probably understood my role at JMP, but the most important thing is that John did, and he always gave me credit for a lot, I mean, always, and so over the years as he gave me more credit, people became more direct, questions to me and stuff. In the beginning, it was hard. They just saw him as John with wife on his hand, it took years, but, and I was really not very many women in the industry.
So I'm actually gonna post that on our social media for everybody to see the full length of that. But dude, you've been doing such an incredible series with this. You started doing the work on that back in Daytona, and the videos have just been killer.
I actually have one of you that's going to be coming out here in the next couple of days. It's really good too.
And that's where it all goes bad.
No, it was good. Yourself and Brian Clock, we talked in Daytona, and have a really good one with a bunch of the JMP employees talking about stuff. And it's obviously I'm a super biased homer here, but the history of this company is just it's such a great story, and it really is the American dream. And I'm just so happy for Jill to be getting in there and joining John in the Hall of Fame.
And that's the truth. I can remember when we were talking in Daytona and going over the stuff that one of the most important things about John is he was one of those guys that was always everywhere. It didn't matter if he was there for a minute or if he threw in sponsorship or what he was doing. In one way or another, he was always everywhere, man. He understood the importance of how close-knit this culture is, the culture that supports the industry, and how important it was to keep fueling that. Yeah,
he was in it. He was you could never accuse him of being disconnected, because that dude was always there. He was always pounding the pavement. He was always at the swap meets. He was always, half the time you could find him on the floor at a JMP Cycle Store. I mean, he was in it. He understood what it was all about, and that's why things worked, man. I mean, Tyler even kind of alluded to that. they're motorcycle guys. That's how they develop their products. And John was no different. He knew what he thought was going to sell because he was in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So from John Bugkiller Baker, Jill Rock, she got me parts in a storm. Phone went dead twice, and she kept calling him back.
Right on.
And that is why she is being inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Lisa Ballard sends out great video and congratulations to Jill. And we send our congratulations too, because like I said, a lot of the people that are finally making it into the Hall of Fame, and I know it's a daunting task. Like, can you imagine picking names out of this crowd to put in there every year? But like some of the guys that are starting to get in, like Mondo last year, and like Ron Paul and Jill, like it's so good to see that because they're so deserving.
Yeah, and they really are the people that built this industry. This is a pretty young, industry that we're in as far as the age of things. And we're talking about like the pillars of the people, the Ron Pauls, the Jills that built what we're on now. So yeah, it's a deep class and very deserving.
Right on. So we're on to, we were on Wednesday the 7th.
Yeah, I want to jump forward because I have some questions about these Cycle Source mini bike drags.
Okay, go ahead, hit it.
So give me like a loose rule set. So when you call something a mini bike,
well,
could it be like a 12-inch wheels with a Chevy 350 or?
It really can. Like there was a guy, and he in his pictures right now. I'm actually going to blow this up so everybody can see this because this guy showed up in Laconia for the mini bike drags with his own mini bike, and you're totally welcome to show up with your own mini bike. We have 5 or 6 of them that we'll let everybody ride, and you can do the races on ours. But this cat shows up in Laconia, and this thing was so fast. We had a 100-foot track with a 100-foot shutdown. He could only keep the throttle on for half the track, or he was going to wreck into the stage at the end of the 100-foot shutdown. Dude, he was ridiculous fast. This thing was, I can't even imagine.
41 miles an hour and what?
Holy cow, 41 miles an hour?
I can't imagine that a grown-ass man would spend that much money on him. It had drag bars, dude. I was ashamed of the mini bikes.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's
like
crazy.
Full-on metal flake paint job, like drag bars, and 41 miles an hour. And how quick? Like
30 feet or something.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe how fast that thing was.
Oh, and we did mini bike races. We did oval mini bike races in Gettysburg, and some guy showed up with an alcohol-fueled mini bike.
They had to start it with a side motor. Like they brought a side motor out on the track and started it, and like it ends up that obviously, of course, Moonshiner Josh gets on it.
I'm sorry, Andy.
So yeah, the rules are kind of loose. Like if you show up with it, want to race with it, that's what we're hoping is like everyone will start to have fun with this. We're doing these pretty frequently now. I mean, we drag mini bikes with us and try to encourage people to have fun. So
in Laconia we did it, and it was supposed to be just drag races. And the first day we did it, I'm signing people up, and these 4 young kids come up to me, and we do it. It's the day before the hill climbs in Laconia. And these 4 guys, they all sign their waiver, and they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, we're all professional racers. And they lift up their shirts, and they all have their AMA cards.
AMA hard cards.
Cards.
I was like, yeah.
That's great.
I'm going to have to buy all new mini bikes now because these guys are definitely going to break all my shit.
So they did the drag races. And then in the middle of a bar on like Weirs Boulevard in Laconia, we took 100 hay bales and we set up an oval on the pavement in the middle of the bar. And that's
awesome.
They went for it, and it was awesome.
Fun. It was fun.
It was awesome.
I'm telling you, small bikes, mini bikes, that's some of the best fun you can have. You kind of lose the fear of like being injured, even though you probably have a much greater chance of being injured because the bike's so much smaller. You're like, oh, no, we can bang into each other and do whatever. But I think realistically, you're way more likely to get hurt. But everybody just has the more send it attitude because it's a small bike.
Well, and the other thing is, and I see this on a metaphysical level, this happens. People will be standing around there like, yeah, okay, dude, mini bikes. And then when everybody brings them out and they start running, immediately everyone goes back to their childhood and they're like,
oh, yeah.
I like mini bikes.
So
yep, 100%.
And it's cool. What we started doing is they are our mini bikes. I mean, aside from the few people that show up on their own. And instead of having people pay to participate, we take whatever charity that event is working with, and we take donations. And
That's perfect.
everything we raise goes directly to the charity. So like at Gettysburg Bike Week, I handed them $1,600 for St. Jude's.
Oh, wow.
From mini bike
That's
races.
awesome.
And
That's
we
incredible.
collected it in 10 minutes.
Yep.
I mean, we had 30 racers sign up, and the crowd just started passing. They were passing hats on their own.
Yep.
to
Same
put
thing in
money in the hat
Laconia.
for
We
that.
donated.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Like we donated, I think again, $1,500 to Dartmouth Hitchcock Children's Hospital and Pits for Vets and Moto Blah, and it's just such a great way.
Yeah.
I'll trash a $300 mini bike to be able to do some good.
Stacy
Well, it's
Wild,
awesome. It's fun and money goes to the right spot.
Yep.
Stacy Wild is on with us, and she said that dude on the mini bike likes to party, and he does like to party, dude.
So actually, why don't we do this, Patrick? You're a Sturgis local.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you
Tell us the charity
tell
that's
us what
important.
charity we should do this for that will benefit Sturgis? You can take some time and think
And-
about it if you want.
Something really
Okay.
community direct, really that'll because
Awesome. Yeah, I'll get
everybody
you guys
comes to
a
the
name.
rally and just takes. So what can we
Yeah,
do?
100%. Yep. Let me talk to my wife. She is the community. I'm, as much as I'm on social media, that I'm kind of like a hermit in my person. I just want to be left alone and ride motorcycles. My wife is the social butterfly. She knows everything in town, and she'll direct me in the right spot. So yeah, give me a minute. But that's a great idea, and you make a good point. There's a lot of taking from
Yep.
Sturgis, so you guys giving back would be much appreciated.
Absolutely, and it's our pleasure.
So what are our other must hits? Tuesday, August 6th, the Biker Bells ride. Wednesday, August 7th, the Rusty Wallace charity ride.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Sturgis Dragway MC Rally move-in.
Ooh.
Or move-in.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I thought it was a drive-in deal. So that's the Baker Run What You Brung that Heather was talking
Yep.
about. Spirit of Sturgis, historic half mile. So this is a combination
Yeah.
of events. It starts with Vintage Day, and we go from Vintage Day straight into the Spirit of Sturgis races that Brittany puts on. Great day. Great day for
Yep.
AMCA people and old bike fans. Sons of
And that's
Speed. I'm sorry.
That's an awesome half mile too. Like that,
Yeah.
that used to be the half mile, and it kind of gets forgotten. For her to go back out there and put on such a great race, that's really important to keep that half mile alive.
We had her on just last week, man, and I didn't realize how much struggle she was in just to keep that track alive and the historic part of it. So I really gave her a lot of credit for that, because that's a daunting task. Like anytime you're going against City Hall, man, it's an uphill battle.
Oh yeah, you have no idea out here, man. It's pretty gangster.
Right on. So Sons of Speed also on Tuesday at the Full Throttle Saloon. The Black Hills Half Mile opening ceremonies at the Black Hills Speedway. Nitro Drag Finals at the Sturgis Dragway on Tuesday. So much. RSD Super Hooligan races at the Buffalo Chip on Wednesday. What am I missing?
Oh, so we we had so much extra time. We added an event. We're doing the Black Hills Boogie on Thursday night, August 8th.
We're
And
helping out with the Black Hills Boogie.
Yeah,
There's
we're
a whole
doing the
bunch of
Black
people doing that.
It's going to be a pre-1980 ride-in chopper show.
So
Wow, that's gonna be cool.
So here's the deal. Bunch of our Texas buddies do this thing in Daytona called the Boogie East, right, at Annie Oakley's. And it's, pre-84, and Bill Dodge is there, and a bunch of guys that we'd like to hang around with. So
Super fun show.
we're actually starting a new property at the old Full Throttle that's now the Still Pony Campground. They've added more camping and a couple swimming pools, and they've given us a place to do a thing that we're calling the Handmade Lot. So it's going to be a bunch of builders like Bill Dodge, Paul Weidman with Bare Knuckle Choppers is going to be there, Xavier Muriel, Still City Choppers, Flatbroke Chops and Rods, Kelderman Trucks is going to be there, and some other guys that we're mixing into the stuff. We're getting ready to put social media out on it. But it's sort of going to be like the guys that are hand making stuff, and we want this to be a Sturgis and Daytona proposition at least. And on Thursday night at that property, we're all going to get together and throw the Black Hills version of Boogie East. So we're calling it the Black Hills Boogie.
So, and let me
Dude, that's big news. That's awesome. I cannot wait.
Let me put this out there, and I'm putting this out there because I see Ryan McQuiston's name pop up. If you are a builder and you can build your motorcycles and you're looking for exposure and you want a space in Sturgis, email me at cyclesourcemain@comcast.net.
We'll throw it into the mix.
And we'll throw you into the mix.
That's
The
another
only
one. Ricky
thing
Bongos is going to be
Ricky
on the lot,
Bongos
too.
is going to be with us.
I like that guy.
The only thing you have to be responsible for is getting your vendor permit. We are not going to charge you for a vendor spot. We are not
And-
even going to charge you to camp. You get to camp free at the Steel Pony Campground with us.
And promotion. You're responsible for promotion. We got to make
Yes.
this. We got to make this happen. We got to make the property happen. We got to make the whole premise of this go down. That's the job that you have. So you got to pull your own weight. We're going to get you a little break on some stuff thanks to the guys from Iron Horse and Steel Pony that are helping us out with this. But it's a real chance to get something on the map again for custom motorcycling. So why do we do all this? Why do we do Grease and Gears Garage? Towed around a 15,000-pound tool trailer all the time and, do these extra events and stuff. It's so that custom motorcycling and the scene that surrounds it has a home at the big rallies, because you guys are awesome at, all these independent things that goes on. It's awesome. But, at the World Series of the motorcycle culture at Sturgis, having custom motorcycles have its home somewhere is really important to a lot of us. So support it if you can. We appreciate it.
100%, man. Well, I will be there for sure. We will be putting out everything we can to help you guys promote that, because that's insane. Like that Boogie East show and those type of shows they're always my favorite. You see the best bikes, man, and half the time you never heard of the guy, which is a travesty. So I love promoting stuff like that.
Yeah, so Patrick, if you know anybody, any up-and-coming builder that
That's deserving
needs
to
a
it.
little spot or is
Okay.
looking for something like that,
And we're looking
shoot
for
it over.
we're looking for guys that get along with this crew too. Like, we don't want it to be
Right.
a shit show and a piss and
They
match.
have to play nice.
100%. Yep.
Don't be a
So
dick.
also speaking of Tuesday and the Lead Sled Sportster show and everything, at the end of the Lead Sled Sportster show, we'll be making our way over to the Handmade lot for the now famous Bling
Teeny
Cycles
Weeny
Teeny Weeny
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So
Oh yeah.
Bill was rolling out the hot dogs, and we're gonna have a good time hanging out at the lot. So everybody's invited to that also.
That's awesome. It's going to be a good one. I know they always say, like, the year before an anniversary is a down year. I'll tell you what, this is one of the most, like, not just concerts, but overall, man, this is one of the more jam-packed rallies I can remember in a long time. This is going to be a good one.
Absolutely. So what other things do you want to hit on about Sturgis?
The only thing I'm going to shameless plug, 1650 Lozelle. If you've never been to Sturgis, you don't know, JMP Cycles, we have an entire city block between Maine and Lozelle, full of just about anything you could want or need during Sturgis. With mechanics on site, like, just come see us, or if nothing else, use our free parking and walk downtown.
I'm gonna very unshamelessly plug that for you, because years before you and I ever knew each other, that place and that company's been bailing me out of events all over the place. So having a spot like JP Cycles, with such great inventory and such great help right in the middle of this is incredible, and the work that you guys do does not go unnoticed. So thank you.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're doing our best to keep, like, there's so much of the Main Street areas, bars and T-shirts and stuff, which is great. But, like, we still have real live motorcycle parts.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what it's all about. It's about the motorcycle. And my new hashtag this year is hashtag make it fun again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll run with that. It really needs to be that. That really needs to be the first priority, because
Yep.
this is a lot of work for all of us if we're not having fun.
Yes, sir.
We still have fun at it.
Hell yeah.
Yep. So, soon as we pull out of the driveway, it's going to be awesome. Awesome, baby.
Right? Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, listen, I want to remind you guys, you are watching Shop Talk live every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except next week. Next week, we're going to be on Saturday because that will be the first time we're set up in Sturgis. We invite you to catch 2 live shows during Sturgis next Saturday, and then the following Thursday, we'll be coming to you live from the Iron Horse Saloon. We are coming to you live through the courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio. Check them out online. Thank you very much for helping us bring our message to everybody everywhere. You guys can help out here by hitting the share button. Make sure you share this feed. Every week, Shop Talk's coming out with 90 to 120 minutes of all the bullshit we can fit. Patrick, dude, thank you so much for stepping in for Ken again. I appreciate it.
Anytime. I really appreciate you guys having me, man.
Oh,
It's
a
a
pleasure.
blast. Always a good talk.
Don't forget to send me the list of places to eat after the rally. That's
it.
my biggest
And,
takeaway from this.
After the rally, we're going to be in town for a week still, finishing up the next issue of the magazine. So we're taking you and your girl to dinner.
Yeah, and we're at the Iron Horse there. I don't want to give away too much. I want crazy showing up at my house, but you're only a few blocks from me. So if
Well, then if you don't want crazy showing up at your house, don't tell him where you live.
Maybe. I mean,
Jesus, you've met
Do
him.
you want Pat Patterson in your driveway?
So, dude, last year I had the entire Rusty Butcher race team, the Babers, two waitresses from One Eyed Jacks, the Indian race team manager, all stay at my house.
Oh,
So,
my God.
I
Your
have
wife
I have
is a saint.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, no, that's. Hey, man, we're all gonna be in town. Let's get down.
Right on.
Awesome.
Well, listen, until we hit the Black Hills, thank you guys for letting us into your headspace, and until not next Chopper time, next Chopper channel, next Saturday, we'll see you from the Black Hills. Until then, keep it cool, be nice to each other. I'm Chris.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Heather.
And we're out.